are live. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. But today we got a live stream, no video, just a live stream. I want to connect with y'all, talk about some of the things that have been going on, whether it's the Cooper DeJean hype, AJ Brown clocking in at 22 miles per hour, or Devin White in the gym getting ready for 2024, and much more. But before we do that, Eagle Nation, help your boy out. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you were new to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you can be here. Like notification gang already in the building. Reyes, Eagle fan, West Philly Rider 215, TB27, Keisha, All Cards, G-Lo, Grind Time, Jay Johnson, Zach, Miss Ash, a channel member. Shout out to notification gang. Like I said, whether you're watching this on the rerun and or now, let's get them likes up and let's talk a little Eagles football. Again, AJ Brown in the lab. We knew he's been in the lab a lot since the 2023 season ended. However, I dropped a YouTube short talking about how much he's actually been in the lab, and I want y'all to see this real quick. Give me your thoughts on all that. As we all know, AJ Brown did not finish the 2023 season due to a knee injury. However, he's back in the lab, working, getting better for 2024. But that's not necessarily what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about his speed. His trainer tweeted a friendly reminder that 1K always open is not human. A smooth 22 miles per hour today. Let me find out that Swole Batman is going to be turning into Fast Batman. A guy his size should not be able to move that speed. 2024 is going to be legit. Of course, make sure you're following the YouTube shorts as well. But yes, 22 miles per hour is incredible for a guy's AJ Brown size. Now, we've seen that from DK, right? DK is a huge dude who can run fast. But nobody expects that out of AJ Brown. Nobody thinks he has that in his bag. And you just see AJ taking his game to the next level time and time again. And that's all he cares about is the grind, is football. And all the talk at the end of the season about, AJ this, AJ that, Jalen Hurts and his chemistry are going to be off, blah, blah, blah. That is not true. We're going to see, I think, the best trio performance from Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and let's not forget Devontae Smith in 2024, just because of the addition of a Saquon Barkley, where eyes are going to be in the backfield. What was the game plan to stop the Giants? They ain't talk about the tight end Darren Waller. They ain't talk about any of their wide receivers. They ain't talk about whatever his name is. Forgot his name for a second. The quarterback for the Giants. They did not talk about Daniel Jones. They said, how can we stop Saquon Barkley? How many guys do we got to put in the box? Watch him out the backfield, spy him, do this, do that. You can't do that on the Eagles offense at all. You just can't do that. And so, again, the grind that we've been seeing from multiple guys, not just AJ Brown. We see Devin White in the lab too. And I like what he said in his Eagles press conference, right? Like, everybody thought that he would shy away from a one-year deal. He's taking the one-year deal as a challenge to show who Devin White is. What we saw from Devin White last year is not him. That's not me saying that. That's him out of his own mouth. And again, we've seen the side-to-sideline speed. We've seen the ability to get sacks, rush the passer. The only thing in question, the real thing in question, is his coverage, which dipped off or dropped off in 2023. But again, attitude, scheme fit, just not working anymore. You don't play the way he did early in his career just to fall off at the age of 26. So I think sometimes a change of scenery does well for both sides, right? Tampa saying we want to start somewhere new with a new linebacker, and the player himself getting a fresh new start with a new team. And you got youngsters like Nakobe Dean, who he recruited to LSU. Nakobe Dean eventually went to Georgia. So you got that connection there. And Nakobe Dean, whether he's going to play a lot this year or not as much, he needs a guy like Devin White to talk to him and work with him for sure. Now, let's see what's going on in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the building. Much love and respect. Where is the chat? There it is. My guy, Michael Dean, Celesco Birds, Jose Ferrano in the building. What's up? Stu Vision, what's going on with you? Jerome Kendrick said, we going to eat. Go Birds, Philly dogs for life. Haters going to hate. They're always going to hate. And like I said, I'm not trying to pass on Devin White as the best linebacker in the NFC or anything like that. I know where his struggles came from last year, but it wasn't the whole year. Let's not act like it was the whole year. It was the tail end of the season. And again, there was a lot of things going on. But for him to bet on himself and take the one-year deal, not shy away from it, in a city like Philadelphia where we've seen so many one-year players go on and get paid, who knows if it's going to be from the Philadelphia Eagles or another team out there. But I like the mindset of the A.J. Browns, the Devin Whites, the C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the Keely Ringos. Listen, I'm going to just use my words. I want to see how many people comment on this video and saying, you're lying. You ain't talked to Keely Ringo. If that's the case, maybe we bring out some evidence. But had a conversation. I've been talking back and forth with Keely Ringo since I made the Philly Dog merch because Keely Ringo was a big-time supporter. He bought a decent amount, gave them to some of his people. He wanted me to get Swift on the shirt. Never did it. No reason to do it now. But he's always been talking about coming on a channel, and I think he was shying away because he hasn't really done nothing. And we've seen rookies. I've talked to young players who haven't played a lot of snaps, and, they always are hopeful and this, that, and the third. But the last thing he said to me was pretty much, look, bro, he said he saw the Slay. He said he saw the Slay video. He said he would love to come on a channel, and he hopes he can come on soon. But he feels like he hasn't done enough in the NFL to come on a podcast and talk. He will feel much more better if he's coming on my podcast with proven to Eagle Nation he's here to stay and he's a valuable member. Straight up. Now, although I was sad that he wouldn't come on the podcast, I have nothing but respect for a guy who is as young as him, could come on the podcast. I'm not even trying to say my podcast is popping. You know what I mean? But he saw the Slay interview. He said it was cool. And he would like to do that. But he wants to have a backbone in the NFL before he comes on talking about what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that. And I think with the amount of work Keely Ringo is putting in this offseason, you see training videos left and right. And just because you see videos don't mean they're automatically going to translate to something. We all know that. And just because you don't see a video don't mean guys ain't working. They're always working. This is why they're at the NFL level. Some work harder than others for sure. All that being said, if James Bradberry really lets us all down like a lot of y'all believe, if he's not a June 1st cut and he ends up letting us down, depending on what happens in the draft, which cornerback is a real possibility for the Eagles. There's so many real possibility for the Eagles, whether it's O-line, defensive line, cornerback, linebacker, safety. Why do you think Cooper DeJean is gaining so much steam? Because he can possibly play corner, safety, special teams. He's just a true football weapon. All that being said, James Bradberry loses his job. Let's say he loses his job. Who's the first one up outside corner alongside of Darius Big Play Slay? Is it Isaiah Rodgers? Or is it Keely Ringo? Is it Eli Ricks? 3 youngsters. Isaiah Rodgers is a veteran still. Young with the Eagles. Only been here 1 year. Didn't really play much. Due to the fact that he was suspended for gambling. But if James Bradberry lets us all down, like some of y'all believe, who's the guy who gets the nod to start outside alongside of Slay? Is it Ringo? Is it Isaiah Rodgers? I think Ringo understands what happened last year with Bradberry. He's not going to just say like he's trash, but everybody's waiting for their turn. You think Milton Williams is going to just sit alongside of Jordan Davis If Jordan Davis struggles early, you don't think Milton Williams is going to say, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. I think so. Now, shout out to Shizzo Flex with the $2 super chat. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support.
EAGLES Eagles!
Shizzo said, enjoy AJ. He won't be here in 2 years. Sheesh. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support, and everybody has their opinion. Do you believe he's not going to be here because of an attitude? Do you believe he's not going to be here because of a contract? Do you believe he's not going to be here because we draft wide receivers and now the young wide receiver we draft is balling and Devontae Smith is balling? Do you believe that is the reason? Shizzo Flex, you don't got a super chat. I do appreciate the super chat, but please elaborate on enjoy AJ. He won't be here in 2 years. Because I want to know what your reasoning behind that statement is, for sure. LJ's father said draft a quarterback at 22. You haven't been watching Eagles football. Siri K said ready to see how our team looks this season with our new additions and bringing back CJ, GJ. You and me both. And I think an addition that always goes overlooked is the coaching staff addition. We talk about bang, bang, boom, 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 all the guys we signed, Devin White, Saquon Barkley, CJ Gardner-Johnson. I think it goes overlooked the additions of both Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio with an F, for sure. Peter Riley said we got to get us another safety. I agree. Again, there's a safety sitting on the market, chilling. I mean, chilling. In Justin Simmons, whose price continues to go down every single day. I think the rest of the NFL forgot that he's on the market. Once upon a time, top 3-4 safety coming into free agency. He's the only one really out there. Now, again, his price is really going to go down if he's not picked up until after the draft. Then his price really comes down because some people solidify that position with the draft. And it could be the Eagles too, where Cooper DeJean really starting to be gaining more and more steam as it pertains to Eagle fans jumping on the bandwagon. I mean, when you look at this kid, Cooper DeJean, he's legit in the sense that the dude compares to the NFL in so many ways. If you look at his workout, he has a better 40 time, 4.43, than Trent McDuffie, who ran a 4.44. If he plays corner, he's quicker than Trent McDuffie, who's making a name for himself in the NFL. Same vertical as Steve Smith, 38.5 inches. Same broad jump as Jalen Johnson, 10.4, who's a beast at corner in the NFL. And more bench reps than a safety Antron Roll. Cooper DeJean had 16 bench reps, and Antron Roll, coming into the draft, only had 15, and he was known as a hitter. So Antron Roll, known as a hitter, only had 15. Cooper DeJean had 16. And when you look across the board of what he's done, better than Trent McDuffie, better than Steve Smith, better than Antron Roll, better than Jalen Johnson, it just shows the versatility in his game. Now, what will he be better at in the NFL? Corner, safety. Will he be as electric as a punt returner, kick returner as he was in college? These are all things we got to see. But the hype is growing so much that a couple mock drafts don't even have him falling to 22 anymore. You know, some people draft stock goes up with pro days and whatnot. We've seen it time and time again. There might not even be an option for the Eagles to draft him at 22. What if he goes at 16, 17, 14, 18, 19? Now, the Eagles did bring him in for a top 30 visit, so we know that we're interested. We're also interested in Troy Fontua, however you say his name. Looked at him twice. We brought in Chop Robinson. We brought in Latu. We've brought in some wide receivers. We've brought in a lot of offensive linemen, to be honest. So it's interesting to me that this guy has been not just gaining steam in the Eagle community, but all across the board as a true weapon. And, if he ends up falling past the Eagles, this could be a pick that people look at and say, how did we not see it? How did we not see it when he's becoming a playmaker all across the defensive side of the ball? Some people comparing him to John Lynch, just that in the third. I don't know. Shizzo's Flex, he's elaborating on the A.J. Brown thing. He said, we about to sign Smith for $25 to $28 million a year. The wide receiver market is surely going to reset once Chase, Lamb, Jefferson get their $30 million a year. A.J. contract has no more guaranteed money on it after this season. So you're not talking as like a A.J. Brown hater. You're talking respectfully in a business situation. You see after 2 years, A.J. Brown and the Eagles not being able to formulate another contract due to the pay rate that the wide receivers are going to be getting. I respect that. However, one thing we do know with all these D tackles, defensive ends, wide receiver positions all getting dang near $30. Like D tackles are getting paid 25 plus. If you're a good defensive end, look at Josh Allen. He just got $30 million. The defensive end for the Jaguars, who we were all interested in. He's getting 25, 30 million. Defensive ends are getting 25, 30. And same with receivers. But the cap is going to go up probably 11 to 15 million every year. It might even jump a 20 million, make a $20 million jump soon due to the TV ratings and Peacock and Amazon and all this stuff. We don't agree with Amazon hosting a game where it's solely on Amazon unless you are, in the hometown of the team. We don't like the Peacock and all that stuff. I don't like it, and I know a lot of people don't like it. However, it's bringing a lot of money to the NFL, and as long as the cap keeps going up, quarterback's price can always go up. Wide receiver, D tackle, defensive end, linebackers are staying pretty, 18-ish. I don't know. Every position is going up for sure, but some more than others. Richie MC said, can risk drafting DeJean? We can risk it. Why not? He's good. We can't or we can. Sorry, I had to mute that one. That was a big one. Stuff23 said Sweat should fall. Who we talking about? The D tackle from Texas who's dealing with some type of arrest? He might fall for sure. Richie MC said, Philly Mike, thoughts on Green Bay Packers week 1 versus the Eagles? I like it. Look, I know some Eagle fans are upset that we are considered a home team and we won't get, we lose a home game. But if you're a Super Bowl contender, you should be built for that. And I love the challenge up front. 2 young quarterbacks that are trying to make a name for themselves. My goodness, the more talking hurts. I like it. It's going to be a tough game. Of course, I'm going to have the Eagles. Shout out to everybody who gave me in my last video their way too early score prediction. I loved it, hearing it from y'all. I think it's going to be a close game for sure. I think the NFC, when it's all said and done, is going to have 3 to 4 to 5 top teams. The Eagles, the Niners, Packers, the Lions, maybe the Cowboys, maybe the Rams did some good things. There's other teams that could, show their value with some of the free agent signings they made. But, when it all said and done, I do believe the Packers are going to be one of the better teams in the NFC. So whoever comes out of this game victorious, not only is 1-0, but got their first win against an NFC contender for sure. Knight Rider said, I think we can get verse. What do you think about that? I think we can get verse. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm awake. Are you said so many gems at cornerback, wide receiver, and running back. It's crazy. Do your homework on this draft, Howie. Yeah. Shout out to Gate City. We were talking behind the scenes. Max Melton is a guy that if the Eagles do go corner later in the draft, I like Max Melton a lot. He was giving me some pointers on him as well. Anthony C said that's going to be a tough game out of the gate, but it will be a great matchup for sure. That's what you call prime time football. Love Hurts, Packers. Now, yes, it's in Brazil, so I would have loved that to be a home opener for the Link, but man, that's some good football to start your NFL season on a Friday. Incredible. Old Town Road to Shields said Queen. Nah. We ain't doing all that. What we doing over there? Duron in the building. Channel member said coming in late. What's on the agenda today? We just talking about the work that AJ Brown's putting in. The fact that he's still able to run 22 miles per hour at that size coming into 2024 is incredible to me. Talking a little bit about the draft, of course, the steam that Cooper DeJean is getting, not just from Eagle fans, but all across the NFL. Might not even be there at 22. And I'm also talking about Devin White, who I do think is a sleeper pick. When we first picked him, I think a lot of Eagle fans were like upset, thinking he is really not good. And I think he's going to have a tremendous season. Again, what Devin White are we getting? What mindset? What attitude? Because I think all that played into the fact that he kind of fell apart in certain situations last year in Tampa. I think there was a disconnect between him and the coaches. You can hear how he speaks. That's not truly him. And so it's interesting for sure. He's our best linebacker, regardless if you think he's good, great, or average. He's our best linebacker. And two, maybe the draft changes something. I don't know. But his connection with Nakobe Dean is interesting too. Eagle Stewart said, get Teslon Pierce for your cough. I'm a doctor. Hey, I appreciate it. It was better last night, and it was better this morning. But again, I think me talking so much, putting all that pressure, it comes back quickly. Bob Brown said, Mike, AJ and Smitty are a luxury Philly cannot afford after this year. Philly cannot allocate that much cap to the wide receiver position. Doing that requires that Howie ignores the other side of the ball. I understand your worriedness about too much money spent on offense. Right now you're talking the wide receiver position, not enough spent as it pertains to the defensive side of the ball. But again, it all depends on how you draft, how contracts are set up. Certain contracts don't kick in until year 3, to year 4, to year 2. And so each and every contract kicking in at a different time can offset the other big contract. In 2025, say a deal gets done for Smitty. In 24-25, he's still cap friendly. AJ's not cap heavy until 25. Then Devontae gets cap heavy in 27. And then this guy gets cap, so it's all depends how you structure them. Think about this. A.J. Brown signed a $100 million deal with the Eagles. $100 million deal. And he's played 2 seasons. In them 2 seasons, his cap hit has never been over $13 million. How? Why? When is it going to be an ugly 20-piece, a 19-piece, a 25-piece? Sooner or later. But with the voided years, the new version of voided years on the back end of the contract that gets done by Howie and a bunch of other GMs, it's a lot easier to spread out. New tricks with the signing bonus. I'm not saying you're wrong, because you're right. There's only a certain amount of money that could be allocated. Do you want it on defense? Do you want it on offense? Do you want it to be evenly spent? That's all true. There's always one side of the ball that has more money spent. That is for sure. But I think you can do a good job spending it all across the board. And again, if your rookies are coming in, if your first and second round picks, even your third round picks, which we don't have this year, but if they are coming in and they are producing, you're having talented players on rookie deals as you have your expensive players on heavy deals, your role players on role player deals. and things can all work out. Let's see if we can get this to 100 likes. We need 22 more likes. We got over 273 people. I don't normally go live at 12 in the afternoon. I don't really go live that much. But when we do go live, it's normally 7, 8 o'clock at night. But hit that like button for your boy. Let's see if we can get it to 100 piece. Subscribe and turn on that bell so you're here when we start talking Eagles football. EC1 in the building. I have to go to work in a little bit. Want to stop by and say what's up. Hey, shout out to you. Hopefully you have a good day at work. I'm awake. Are you? Said White needs to change his numbers. Sheesh. 45 is going to look weird in Philly. Yuck. I'm not a big fan of 45 as well. Cole U said LJ, or some could think that you think energy from yeah, LJ in here is over here talking crazy. K Morales said, my guess is that Howie moves up in the draft once again. We'll love to draft Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo. Hashtag wishlist. You and me both. I think when it's all said and done, he might be the best corner in the draft. If you look at the last 5 years, let's just take a look at the last 5 years, Howie Roseman draft style. 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. Which is a pretty high number. Howie Roseman has traded up in the draft. That don't mean he went up super high. 12 to 10, 13 to 9, whatever we did. 4 out of the last 5 drafts, Howie Roseman traded up. He sees the guy he wants, and he's not afraid to be aggressive. And over the last 5 years, our first-round picks have been panning out. Well, not 5 years. But he's seen the light about drafting SEC players, right? The Landon Dickersons, the Devontae Smiths, the Jalen Carters. I still believe in Jordan Davis. We still got to wait and see. I do believe it's a big and important year for him for sure. We got to see how, the 2018 draft looking real good still. Sweat still from there. Goddard. I know a lot of people don't like Maddox at this point anymore, but it is what it is. Keisha said, been on since the start. Shout out to Keisha. Hawk Nation, what's going on with you? Knight Rider said, Jarrett Verse, defensive end from Florida State. Not too well versed in his game. I was watching Florida State tape. I think I know who you're talking about. But I would have to do more due diligence for sure. But thank you for giving me a guy to look up a little bit. Mike Stark said, hope you feel better, my guy. Hey, I feel great. Body, everything's good. It's just a lingering cough as I continue to talk a lot. The cough comes back, but it's been a lot better, and I'll be almost 100% soon. Bob Brown said, Mike, your take on the cap is correct. If Howie drafts well and can backfill positions through the draft, Howie's strength is not the draft. Contracts, yes. Free agents, yes. Drafting, no. And he hasn't been the best drafter. We all know that. There's been some big blips in the road as it pertains to drafting. However, the last 2 years, his philosophy has changed. He's been pretty good. Think about some of the guys we got out of the last 2 years. Think about the Jalen Hurts pick. That now is like, wow. Of course, the Jalen Reagor wasn't. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside wasn't. But I do like what he was able to do the last 2 years, and I need him to continue to build on what he's been doing the last 2 years. Whether it's not just staying in the SEC, but taking guys that are highly touted by multiple people and not just listening to, not trying to find you don't need to find gems necessarily in the first and second round. These guys should be standing out to you. You got to find gems later in the draft, but you don't got to go off and say, let's get the wide receiver from TCU and let the wide from LSU go. You know what I mean? Take the known commodity at this point. Shout out to Shizzo Flex with another super chat, this time a $5 banger. Shout out to him for showing love to the channel. Let's get that Eagles chant in the building.
Eagles.
Shizzo says, it was always gonna go this way. I never thought AJ was getting another contract. Here is Hurts. The guy. Here is Hurts. That guy or not? Is Hurts that guy or not? Can he elevate talent around him or not? Well, we gotta wait and see. In 2021, Jalen Hurts was playing with a rookie Devontae Smith and a Jalen Reagor who couldn't catch anything. We've seen the upside. We've seen the ceiling in 2021 at times. We've seen the deficiencies. Got way better in 2022, but so did his supporting cast. 2023, if you look at his overall numbers, they were pretty good. Yes, the turnovers were big, and you can't have another season with that amount of turnovers. Some of the decision-makings were crazy. I agree totally. But this is where we get to start to see. Jalen Hurts was paid a big boy quarterback contract, right? He was. There are going to be times in the season, whether injuries rear its ugly head or this, that, and the third, we need Jalen Hurts to be the difference maker. I totally agree. It's not going to be easy to give A.J. Brown another contract in this high wide receiver market where not many teams have two guys making $25+ million. I think the Eagles will be the first team to do it when they do pay Devontae Smith, but I don't know if it's going to be able to roll over to another contract. I do hear you. I will be saddened, and I would see what Jalen Hurts' game has developed into and or looks like to know if we can go that route. But again, do we still have Saquon Barkley? How is the offensive line? Is Devontae even better than he is now? Are we featuring a tight end more? Do we have two tight ends on this roster? Are we playing more 12-man personnel? A lot of things go into not just Jalen Hurts being able to carry or being that guy, which I do respect you wanting that answer and understanding it's not no love or hate with A.J. Brown. It's a contractual thing, a business thing. We're lucky to have an A.J. Brown and a Devontae Smith under contract now, let alone being able to do that again. It is going to be hard. Who knows how long the Devontae Smith extension is going to be? And again, 2 years when AJ signs it, and when AJ's up for a contract, blah, 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 when and where is the big kick into a Devontae Smith extension? And what else is going on? Did we trade for Patrick Surtain? Like, who else is on the roster costing money? I totally agree. It's going to be a question mark. And this is why in today's NFL, you can't take no years for granted. I am saddened that we did not win the Super Bowl in 2022 because it's not that easy to get right back to the Super Bowl. Are the Eagles a Super Bowl contender going into 2024? Yes. We are one of the top teams in the NFC. That makes us a contender. If you are already scheduled to make the playoffs via betting odds, that makes you a contender. I think we are third or second in the NFC, 8th overall when it talks the big board or what do you call that? Power rankings or whatever via betting lines. So you can't take for granted what is in front of you today for sure, because you don't know if you'll have AJ in 2 years. You don't know what's going to happen with Saquon or Jalen or Devontae or any player as it pertains to an injury status, a trade. So many people are disgruntled in today's game and organizations oblige because of the holdouts and stuff. You never know what goes on. And so that's why you always got to make the year that you are in the most important. Building for the future always has to be in a GM's mind. But the hearing now is the most important thing. Who knows what happens via the draft, via free agency, any and every year. But always the year that is up and coming is the most important in today's game of football. My guy Anthony C with a $5 super chat. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support.
Eagles.
Reed and Cooper have the potential to be the best milkmen duo in the NFL. And you know why they have the potential to be the best milkmen duo? Not just because again, I think people are too down on Reed. I'm not saying he's a superstar, but it's only his second year. He's going into his third year, and he was a UDFA. Let's not act like he wasn't. But I will say this. Anthony C is 100% right. They have the potential to be the best milkmen duo because they're only going to be the only milkmen duo out there. There's no double white safety in the NFL. I don't think there's any team that has two white safeties in the NFL. And I know a lot of people talk about that on Twitter, talking about that's too much milk in the secondary. Listen, hey, look, we haven't seen the double duo white safety. However, we might not see it a lot anyways, because if you do draft Cooper DeJean and he does play safety, even if you use C.J. Gardner-Johnson in the slot a little bit, he going to get some reps at safety, so we won't see it all the time. But it will be cool to see here and there. And I'm rooting for Reed Blankenship, Reed Battleship, as LB calls him, for the simple fact that he signed a very, very cheap extension. He got a 78 grade in PFF, which was not the worst last year when you look at everybody on the roster on defense. And he still has a lot of room to grow. Now, past the Milkman duo statement that my guy Anthony C said, and go check out his podcast. It's called the Day One Podcast. He talks Eagles football, but he also talks the rest of the NFL. His co-host is a Jets fan, so there's going to be a little back and forth with the Hassan Reddick stuff all year. You'll probably hear if you go check that out. And I do believe they cover the NBA as well. Let's get to the rest of it, my man's $5 banger. In my opinion, Latu would probably be the smartest option at 22. I like the UCLA pass rusher Latu. When I watch his film, I'm like, dang, he got a bag. His arsenal off the edge is good. It's by far probably the best bag that I've seen on film. I think pure pass rusher, he might be the best. That being said, I need Howie and his team to go over that injury history, because when you talk about the history he has, it's scary. Now remember, Landon Dickerson had a huge college injury history. I'm talking big. When we drafted him, everybody loved the talent. We questioned if he could stay healthy at the next level if he couldn't do it in college. Knock on fake wood, he's been healthy, and it was a steal. You go back and do that draft, Landon Dickerson is going top 10 because he's the best left guard in the NFL. He's going top 10. We got him in the second round. And so you can't always go off the college injury history, but whoever really went through that history for Landon Dickerson and gave him all right, he's healthy, and I believe he can stay healthy, we need that same person to look at Latu. I love his tape. I'm just scared. Plus, the fact that he likes to be a fireman doesn't really sit well with me, if you know what I'm saying. But shout out to Latu. And like I said, from a pure pass rush standpoint, you're right. He would come in and contribute and help the Eagles ASAP Rocky. Michael Bishop said ESPN First Take is saying that Green Bay has a much better chance representing the NFC and getting to the Super Bowl. I tell you to hate be so real when it comes to our bird. You're right. Now look, Jordan Love is up and coming. I like what they did last year. They made the wild card, the last seed, 7th seed. They beat the Dallas Cowboys. But let's rein it in a little bit. I like what they did in free agency. I do. I really do. But I respect the Packers as a NFC contender, but to automatically jump them over an Eagles team, jump them over a Niners team, I think that's a little too premature, to say the least. Shizzo says, I say AJ is going after this year because no team giving max value for a player with 1 year left on his deal. This is what separates the good from elite. Is Hurts elite, or is everything around him perfect? We will see. I never been afraid to say, look, we've seen Allen surrounded with guys like Diggs and I forgot the other guy's name, but we've seen a lot of good quarterbacks surrounded with players. Breeze had some weapons his whole career. Rodgers had weapons his whole career. Manning has had weapons his whole career. So I don't like to take away from a quarterback when they don't have weapons, but I do prop up a quarterback that balls out with no weapons, for sure. A la the way we were talking about Carson Wentz in 2019. I'm missing some of these comments. Z Illusion said scheme and coaching has just as much influence on how defenses plays as the players themselves. See Gannon versus Patricia / Desai. Basically the same talent and two completely different results. I'm with you on that. So a lot of the slander we've been giving guys for the 2023 defensive season, especially at the end, we saw Jalen Carter fall off. We saw Jordan Davis fall off. James Bradbury was never the same. And we were bouncing him all around. Outside slot, outside slot, outside slot. That could have played into it. The fact that the D-line took a hit, the secondary took a hit, we were moving people around, we were playing hot potato with the play calling duties on defense. Who knows what we really have? Are we more of the 2022 defense? Or are we more of the 2023 defense? That is pretty much up in the air due to the fact that how much was blamed on coaching needs to be blamed on coaching, but I'm with you. All that should be part of the equation. Philly 559 said Dickerson will be a captain this year. He should be, for sure. Say no to... My man's name, say no to blah, blah, blah. That's crazy. But thank you for saying Gabe Davis alongside of Diggs. Old Town Road said trade that bum to Chicago for their 2 picks. I don't know who he's talking about, but LJ Father said I'm old school. I still say no. Lord have mercy. Bob Brown said, Mike, the real issue is Howie's reluctance to build a staff. In my opinion, Howie and Laurie believe their blueprint is why we win. In fact, their blueprint is why we are a roller coaster franchise. We have been roller coaster up and down. Well, I don't think our down has been really down, except for that collapse. I will say you're right. I do believe their blueprint has been more up and down roller coastery, but I think they've been zigging and zagging, as Howie Roseman talks about, more in the last 2 years. I honestly feel like the draft blueprint of 2 years ago changed, and it's paid off thus far. Will it continue to pay off? That's what we're waiting to see in April, on April 25th. Sean Robinson said Devin White's going to be a beast. I agree. Again, just the way he spoke about attitude and the way he's coming into this season compared to last year, who he was last year to this year, who he always been as a player, the work he's putting in, just to change of scenery. Signing a 1-year deal, if he goes out there and shows he can't be the linebacker that he used to be, who's going to pay this man? This is a 1-year stop and shop. He needs to prove it now, not later. And what better way to do it than with a team who's had minimal linebacker play for a while? Go in there and shut that middle of the field down. If you look at Devin White's tape all last year, he wasn't bad all year. It turned into a problem. And I think that was a disconnect with the coaches and him getting beat across the middle a little bit, left and right. I'm not going to lie and say he didn't get beat. He did. But I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. And I think low-key Devin White was one of my favorite signings, and I can't wait to see him. I'm with my guy, I Am Awake, Are You? Not a big fan of the 45, though. Matthew Hudson, a channel member, saying, just getting in at work. What have I missed? We just talking a little football, Little draft, A.J. Brown, Devin White, Cooper DeJean. Uh, Nothing you can't go back and check. And like I said, shout out to Notification Gang. Shout out to the 280 people in the building. We do not normally go live this early. We don't do that on the channel because normally I'm at work or I'm making a video if I'm at home early. We're going to start doing lives once or twice a week around 12 o'clock. Some videos dropping around 12, 1, 2, and some live streams dropping around 12, 1, 2 throughout the off season. Hit that like button. Let's see if we can get it to 200 likes. Only need 65 more. Subscribe and ding that bell. I know my guy Matthew Hudson has his notification bell rung. Sometimes work gets in the way, but you can't stop the grind. My guy Duron with the $5 banger. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Let's see what my guy had to say real quick. He said, what are your biggest concerns going into the season? I swear I don't want to see one screen pass all season long and tackle, and one more time. Tackle. Yeah, I actually do want to see screen passes to the running back, and the running back is named Saquon Barkley. That's what I want to see. I'm not a big fan of the wide receiver screen, although if it's ran occasionally, sparingly, not at the rate we did last year, you could catch people off guard, especially with a Paris Campbell, with a A.J. Brown. The tight end screens were working in 2022. Dallas Goedert had so much yak from tight end screens. I think we miss the running back screen in Philadelphia. Haven't seen that really work since B-Dub and LaShawn McCoy. All that being said, you got a guy in Saquon who can run the running back screen very efficiently, so I would like to see that. To your point, tackling has to be a priority. And now with the hit drop tackle, it's going to be a very interesting season to see how many flags get thrown, if they just drag them down, if they don't really turn their hips. But my biggest concern is still on the defensive side because there's just so many question marks. How is the rotation mark going to work with Nolan Smith, BG, Sweat, and Bryce Huff? Who else is going to play the linebacker role in a 3-4 defense for Fangio other than Devin White? Zach Cunningham has not re-signed. We haven't got to the draft. Don't know if we get an Edgerrin Cooper or a Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Is Nakobe Dean going to be able to be healthy? Will we ever see the dude who used to play in Georgia, the guy who won the Bunkus Award? Will we ever see that player? And will we ever see him stay healthy? And then you got the James Bradbury, all pro in 2022, all buns in 2023. Was that Desai and Patricia? Will Fangio fix that? So I think the Eagles' offense is set up to score 40 points a game. We have a Madden 25 type offense. To me, the questions are on the defense. However, all the questions I'm saying are not necessarily scary questions. Questions could be answered in a positive way. Just because I'm not sure about the rotation, because I haven't seen it from Nolan and Bryce in Eagles uniform. Nolan because we didn't give him snaps last year. Bryce because he's coming over and he hasn't done it back-to-back seasons. That don't mean they can't. The question is asked, it could be answered like, what? Double-digit sacks for Nolan and Bryce? Let's go. We're better than last year. So there's questions for me on the defensive side of the ball that I need to see answered. And I'm hoping and I'm optimistic that they could be answered in a positive way. So when you ask me with a $5 super chat, what's my biggest concern? I would probably say concern-wise, what else are we doing at linebacker? Because the middle of the field has to be a priority for a Fangio defense. Playing 3-4, how many times are we going to have 3 to 4 linebackers on the field? And so I still got to say the middle of the field will be my biggest concern. However, the questions that can be answered could matriculate or could translate, I should say, into them being solved a lot more this year than they were last year. Um, the Eagles are still not it's not a set roster. We got the draft. And think about some of the big pickups we've made. CJ Gardner-Johnson in 2022. James Bradberry in 2022. Yes, you can talk about Bradberry being bad now, but we didn't pick up James Bradberry and CJ Gardner-Johnson until a month before the start of the season. So right when you think all the dust settles and we drafted our players, we signed our free agents, Howie Roseman, especially with the cap money we have, which is only going to go up when we extend Devontae Smith, could sit there in late July, early August, and say, this Eagles team is good. This Eagles team is looking real good. But what if we add this via a trade, via a late release from a team with a late release due to a cap casualty or something that we benefit from? I don't know. Marty G said, I Philly Mike, I work at a pawn shop and I'm playing your show on my TV. A shout out to Marty Gilman. Shout out to the pawn shops of the world. I still love going in there every once in a while, seeing what they got. Appreciate you for putting my show on. And I'm sorry I'm coughing a lot. You know what I mean? It's just not good show. You know what I mean? Shout out to the 150 likes we got in here too. 50 more to get to the magic number 200. Shout out to Ariel Mass for becoming a channel member. Welcome to Philly Talk 24/7. Appreciate you, Ariel Mass. Bob also says, Mike, zigging and zagging keeps Howie in the spotlight. Instability and an inexperienced coaching leads to inconsistent play. Consistent and experienced coaching will not tolerate Howie's hands-on crap. You're right. The whole reason we brought Sirianni in was probably because he can blend in with Howie Roseman really well compared to an experienced coach. But it's paid off thus far. Besides the collapse of 2023, I gotta see how the response is from not only Nick Sirianni, but the players with the new coaching staff and Howie Roseman for 2024. Because like I said, look, I was with a lot of you on you know what, let's just get rid of Nick Sirianni. I was so pissed. The collapse we seen was epically bad. However, there has been some great times with Nick Sirianni, and now that I'm woosad and yeah, he's going to be the CEO type and blah, 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 I'm all for giving Sirianni another chance because I cooled down, because we got the coaching staff in here. And yeah, maybe we have to reset the coaching staff next year or something. We'll talk about that as we get there. But in this sport called the National Football League, I can't get too far ahead with the future because of the live in the moment decisions that need to be made and how things change constantly. I got to live in the moment. But shout out to CB with the $20 banger, the biggest super chat of the day, MVP of the show. Shout out to CB with a $20 banger. If I had some Crown Rizzy, it's 1 o'clock. Who cares? If I had some Crown Rizzy, we take a shot. That's for the live play-by-plays. But shout out to CB once again. Bird Gang at work. Mike just had to tap in on the way. On way is had to tap in. On way is up. Muscle Gang. Shout out to CB. Always showing love to the channel, whether it's videos, lives, in the live play-by-plays. especially when the Eagles need that oomph, that comeback. There. There's a lot of y'all always in there, but CB always showing love for sure. And shout out to you. Hey, make sure everything's going good at work. And like I said, I don't normally go live at 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I know a lot of y'all at work. I should be at work my dang self, but today has some things we had to take care of. And so it is what it is. Good to change it up every once in a while. But CB, MVP of today's show so far. Bird Gang at work. Mike just had to tap in. On way is up. That's the only way. The only way the Eagles need to be thinking about going in 2024 is up. And I'm telling y'all, like, I still don't think we all understand this right here. Like, we all know Saquon Barkley's on the Eagles. We know that. We're a very smart fan base. But I still don't even think, me as a content creator, I don't think I've grasped what Saquon is really going to do in 2024 because, we talk about that. But when you have the guys behind Saquon, the O-line, man, and Kellen Moore was one of the guys banging on the desk for Saquon. I think the passing game is going to be utilized through him. Run game. I think you'll see Jalen Hurts under center more. And we've talked about it, the way CMC changed things for San Fran, that could be just the start of how things change for Philadelphia through Saquon Barkley. I think week 1 in Brazil, if this man runs for 200 plus, that's when it would be like, yo, he about to lead the league in rushing. And then people are going to say, Jalen Hurts can't throw. We just want to run the ball, blah, blah, blah. Jalen Hurts can also run. That RPO is going to be crazy. Jason Wall, this guy has been following and supporting the channel since I had like 500 subscribers. I remember Jason Wall was one of the only guys in me and Gate City's live streams back in the day. Always coming in, and I love the whole Jason Voorhees profile pic in an Eagles jersey. Shout out to another MVP of the show taking the lead with the $50 banger. My guy Jason Wall once again with the $50 banger. He said, dang, Mike, you might need to stick with the edibles for a day or two, my brother. Listen, I might need to. Shout out to you for dropping the $50 banger. Once again, this guy has been showing love in the live chat since me and Gate. Even before Battle Birds podcast, when it was just me and Gate City going live, he was in there giving his take. Very, very sharp football fan himself. Jason Wall always had fantastic takes, dropping a $49.99 super chat. Dang, Mike, you might need to stick to them edibles for a day or two, my brother, and might have to do that. Like I said, I ain't never have a cough last this long, but it's been a lot better. And my guy Jason Wall coming in the clutch with the $50 banger. Hey, we're going to get Battle Birds podcast, and I would like you to be up in there joining it. Like I said, listen, what I plan to do soon is do a live call-in show at least once a month or once every 2 weeks. That won't be this format. We would have to be StreamYard. Once we get back on StreamYard, I want to do a live call-in show at least once every 2 weeks, once a month, because I love reading y'all comments, but I love y'all coming on for a minute or two and giving me your take on whatever situation we got going on. Marty Gilman says Saquon, 1,567 yards rushing. I'll take that for sure. Saquon, best running back in the NFC. He's about to prove it, and that's what Paris Campbell said. He says, shout out to CMC, but I'm fitting to bet that Saquon is the best in the NFL when the season's done. 15 yards rushing, maybe more. Crazy. Hey, Miles Sanders had 1,300. You know what I mean? Miles Sanders had 1,300 in 2022. 1,300, and we didn't utilize him the same way I believe we're going to utilize Saquon as long as he stays healthy. Miles had 13 something. Troy said we're going to Troy said we're going to stink on defense again if you don't see it. Remember what I said, love offense, but defense will let us down. Losing Reddick will hurt. I don't believe in the guy from the Jets. I mean, led the NFL in pressure rate per snap. Now, he only played 47% of the snaps, but anytime you can get 10 sacks and half the snaps of some of these other guys who were getting double-digit sacks, you deserve more playing time, and he couldn't get it with the Jets. He will get it with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a wait-and-see approach. When I watch the film, his bag is deep. Can he do it consistently is what we have to wait and see. Julian said, he's talking to someone. Julian says, Saquon going to get fed, but got to feature AJ early and often. I'm with you. I think the passing game and running game are going to go hand in hand. And if the defense is getting off the field and or getting scored on, for y'all who think the defense is going to suck, means the offense is going to be on the field a lot. Shizzo says, can you imagine what Jalen Carter is going to command when he's due for an extension 2 years? LOL, 35, 40 million. That's also why I don't think it's realistic to keep Smith and AJ long term. Yeah, we talked about that. Look, the D tackle room itself, if you are an A- D tackle, you're getting paid 20. By the time Jalen Carter is available and ready for a contract, he's going to be the best D tackle in the game. He really might be the best D tackle in the game, commanding 30+ mil. Should be interesting. But look, I wish I got to pay him that much. Because if you got to pay him that much, you know the production is there. I can see in the near future, Jalen Carter, a double-digit sack D tackle, and we haven't seen many of them. Aaron Donald's done it. We saw Hargrave do it. A couple other people, but you don't get to see the double-digit D tackle sack guy. But I can see it from Jalen. Peter O'Reilly said revenge year. I'm with you. Errol Mass said, LOL, the edibles. Does that mean yeah? Russell Nash said, we getting a ring this year. I'm with you, Russell. We putting a ring on it. Bob Brown said, Mike, 40 points per game is possible. Unfortunately, we might give up 41. My guy, Bob Brown. Listen, I love at it. It's no hate the way you're talking. You know, you're talking on all honest opinions, but, you know, you said we might put up 40, but they might also allow 41. Switching to a 3-4 does not fit our personnel on defense. Undersized at edge and small at linebacker. But we do got speed. You do got speed, and we do got the Okawar. I forgot how to say his name. Okora, who's going to rock number 52. You got Zach Baum. You got certain guys who are going to play linebacker, but I believe rush the passer. So, you know, I think, could we gear up more for a 3-4 defense by getting a nice linebacker / edge in this draft? Of course. But I do believe the fastball guys like Andrew Van Ginkel, who played the same role in college as Zach Baum, both from Wisconsin, I believe, if I'm not wrong, I think are going to fit and even be better than what they are name-wise in a Vic Fangio scheme than what we've seen so far in the NFL. Trey White said, allergies, bleeping y'all up. I'm ready to laugh. I mean, I don't think it's, I never had allergies. I got sick with a cough and some other stuff, and the cough just lingered. I'm fully healthy, but the cough is just lingering behind. We'll see how it goes. Shout out to my guy, Aaron, straight 84 word. Welcome to Philly Talk Nation. Shout out to my guy for joining channel membership. Let me get you a wrench. He said, let's go, Mike. You already know. Once you a channel member, you automatically got to have a wrench for sure. Appreciate the love and support. Remember, we only time people out for being racist and or being crazy. Little trash talk never hurt anybody, you know what I mean? Wisconsin Eagles said 42-17 over the Packers to start the season. I would love that. That would put the NFL on notice. Not just notice, but notice. Marty Gilman said, hot take, Cooper DeJean gets a pick six first 5 minutes of the Eagles-Packers game. Yo, could you imagine Cooper DeJean being a pick at 22 for him to come into Brazil week 1 and get a pick six to put the Eagles up? Say the Eagles defer. Jordan Love gets the ball first. First play of the game, Love drops back, pumps. He's going deep. It's intercepted. Cooper DeJean. He misses. He breaks the tackle left. He breaks the tackle right. He's going down the sideline. Hurdles over a defender. The 20, the 10. Touchdown. I'm ready for football season, as you can tell. That would be legit. I like the hot take. He got to be an Eagle first, but I like the hot take. Troy Robinson said, LOL, what is Davis going to do? He can't even get a sack. Dude is trash. He has had sacks in his career with the Eagles. And I think he started out rushing the passer actually really well last year. Last year, he did a lot of things well in the first part of the season. He didn't do much well in the second half, which is concerning. However, is it his stamina? Is it his weight? Is it his playing style? Or was it the coaching staff? Because Jalen Carter didn't perform as good in the second half. A lot of people fell off on defense in the second half. So was it the coaching staff or was it the players? Jordan Davis has a lot of eyes on him in 2024, for sure. He got to step up. Fans are going to be on him. Coaches are going to be on him. Milton Williams himself is going to be on him. If he don't step up, Milton Williams going to slide in and take that spot because he can play. But I saw a nice pass rush game. I saw the ability to take on a double team. I saw the ability to beat a double team and stop the run solo himself early on in 2023. He had 2 sacks in the first 6 weeks or 7 weeks. Everything fell apart. Or 1.5 sacks. He's never going to be a double-digit sack guy. But can he clog the middle? Can he play his nose, especially in the 3-4? Like, this is his best opportunity to showcase his full talent in a Vic Fangio scheme. Will he do it? Find out on the next episode of, you know what I mean? Aaron said, yes, sir, let's go. Eagle Philly Mike, I got you, bro. I'm going to turn this podcast up. Shout out to my guy for showing love. Trey White said Nolan Smith, and I think we are vastly underestimating him, especially in the 3-4 system. I feel like we are going to put Jalen Carter against tackles. It's fitting to get bad for offenses this year. I do see the Eagles' defensive line stepping up and playing better this year, just off the structure of how guys are going to be played in the Fangio scheme. Now, will the linebackers live up to expectation? That is a wait-and-see approach, but I do think the down linemen, the D linemen are going to play better in this scheme, and there's no doubt in my mind that Nolan Smith has to contribute. When we start the season, week 1, week 2, 3, week 1, week 2, week 3, Josh Sweat, Bryce Huff, they're going to be the starters. You're going to see Brandon Graham rotate. You're going to see Nolan Smith rotate. You might see a rookie rotate in. But by week 4, week 5, week 6, I need to see not only Nolan Smith rotating in, but I need to see him fighting. I need to see him pushing Josh Sweat out a couple times for some extra snaps. Pushing Bryce Huff. We need production from our first and second round talent on defense that are on the rookie deals. I need to see Jalen Carter be the best D tackle on the team. I need to see Nolan be a 6 to 8 sack guy this year at the minimum. And they have the tools to do it. I don't think it was the talent of Nolan Smith not being able to do it. It was the lack of playing. Now you could say didn't get much playing time due to his skill set. I don't know. I'm not in each practice, but he will play this year. And I'm a big believer of how his game could have translated from college to the NFL. He looked to me as a Hassan Reddick Jr., and we see Hassan Reddick take a little bit to get started. He wasn't popping off in Arizona when he first was drafted. He ain't popping Arizona to the last year of his deal when he got a double-digit sack. Then he went to Carolina, got double-digit sacks. Then he went to Philly twice and got double-digit sacks. Nolan Smith got the tools to get it done. Will he get it done, though? With that being said, we've been live for an hour and 10 minutes. Like I said, we're going to start going live a lot more during the day. 12, 11, 12, 1. That don't mean we won't go live sometimes at 7, 8, 9. That's why you need to hit that notification bell. Appreciate all the good words from y'all, the good talking, even the trash talking some of y'all doing. Listen, we need 18 likes. Can I get 18 more likes before we get up out of here? Subscribe if you are new to the channel too. Shout out to 50K. Y'all the real deal, Holyfields. And like I said, Jason Wall said, LOL, DeJean, the most Philly name ever. DeJean, BDN, Balboa. Too bad I'm done with having kids. Hey, shout out to my guy, Jason Wall, who once again dropped the $50 banger. It's good to have you back. Haven't seen you in a minute, my guy. Appreciate the love and support. Antonio Holmes said, yo, during the day? Yeah, listen. We're going to be doing a lot more live streams around 11, 12, 1 o'clock. Because I'm going to have a lot more time off from work. And we drop videos 11, 12, 1, 2. And we'll be doing live streams 11, 12, 1, 2. So again, some late night streams, some early morning streams. We going to change it up to try to grab all my Eagle supporters. Some people can watch more in the mornings. Some people can watch more at the nights. But like I said, if you got that bell on, you will get a ding when I go live. If you're not getting the notifications, turn the notification off. Turn it back on. Sometimes YouTube plays around. All that being said, sometimes you're just busy and you get the notification, but you still can't tune in. I respect the grind. With all that being said, love all y'all. Got the 200 likes. Muscle Gang in the chat. Y'all the real deal. Until next time, which will be tomorrow because we going to have daily content. You going to see Philly Mike, whether it's live or recorded, almost every single day. We back with a vengeance, just like the Eagles are going to be in 2024. Always something to talk about, whether it's opinionated or factual. Until next time, y'all know what time it is. Love y'all. We out.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's I like. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.